Hey guys, so oh, I haven't read from. First of all, I'm gonna show you what the book is called. It's called Power of Three Warriors Long Shadows by Aaron Hunter. I got this from Homebrew Library. But we're gonna start on chapter 6. But I just read a page, so we'll just start here. The sound of coughing woke Hollyleaf. Raising her head, she peered across the warrior's den. A few tail lengths away, Thornclaw was sitting up, his head bent as he coughed. His sister, Brightheart, pressed her muzzle into his shoulder fur. "Don't worry," she murmured. "I'll fetch you something from Leafpool to make you feel better." "Get a move on," Spiderleg grasped. "Then maybe the rest of us can get some sleep." "Yeah, it's like trying to sleep with a monster in here," Berrynose added. Brightheart gave them a furious glare, her teeth drawn back in a snarl. "See if I help if you get ill," she snapped, and slid out between the branches. Thornclaw coughed again. "Sorry." "Don't apologize to the stupid furballs," Hollyleaf told him. "If they don't like it, they can go out and do something useful." Both Spiderleg and Berrynose ignored her, curling up again and wrapping their tails over their ears. Thornclaw lay down, too, but a cough shook him every time he tried to breathe. Hollyleaf was too anxious to go back to sleep. She curled up in her nest, listening to the rain beating steadily on the branches of the den. How many more cats would fall ill before Leafpool got the green cough outbreak under control? Her thoughts jumped to what she and Lionblaze had discussed with J-Paw the day before. Did they truly need to fake a sign to make ShadowClan believe in StarClan again? Would that make StarClan angry with them? Perhaps they ought to find another way to show that Soul wasn't a worthy leader. Unwillingly, Hollyleaf remembered how she had felt with Soul when Soul talked to her. She had basked in the warmth of his gaze, and his calm, deep voice made her feel as if everything would be fine as long as she listened to him. And yet, he had taken a whole clan away from StarClan. That couldn't be right. StarClan has always been there. None of the clans could turn away from them. Arguing with herself was making Hollyleaf dizzy. In spite of the pounding raindrops, she got up and squeezed out through the branches of the den. Rain had turned the floor of the clearing to mud. It splashed up over Hollyleaf's legs and belly fur as she sprinted across to the thorn tunnel and stood shivering in its shelter. Her paws itched to race through the forest, as if she could find the answers she was looking for by tracking them down like prey. Gray dawn light seeped reluctantly into the hollow. No other cat was stirring until Brightheart emerged from Leafpool's den and pelted back across the clearing with some leaves in her mouth. Soon after, movement on the high ledge caught Hollyleaf's eye as she spotted Sandstorm leaping down the tumbled rocks. The ginger sea cat headed for the dirt place tunnel, then swerved when she saw Hollyleaf and bounded over to join her. "What are you doing up so early?" she meowed. "There won't be any patrols until the sun is up." Twitching her tail, she added, "With any luck, the rain will ease off by then." "Thornclaw was coughing," Hollyleaf replied, aware that she wasn't telling the whole truth. Concern filled Sandstorm's green eyes. "The last thing we need is illness in the camp. A lot of the cats are still weak from the battle, especially Squirrel Flight." Hollyleaf flinched. Her mother had been terribly injured in the battle. Her wound was only just beginning to heal. Although she wasn't sleeping in Leafpool's den anymore, she wasn't allowed to leave the camp. If she had caught a bad cough, she wouldn't have the strength to fight it. Sandstorm bent down and nuzzled Hollyleaf's head for a heartbeat. Hollyleaf felt like a kid again, safe and comforted. "Don't look so worried," the older she-cat purred. "There are plenty of warriors to take care of the clan. And Leafpool's a great medicine cat. You just need to concentrate on learning everything you can to serve ThunderClan." "That's what I try to do," Hollyleaf meowed painfully. Aware of how far fell short of what she would like to be. "You made a great start in the battle," Sandstorm encouraged her. "Firestar is very proud of you. But you mustn't take on any more responsibility than you need to." Hollyleaf stifled a snort of bitter laughter. Sandstorm had no idea what responsibilities she had to cope with. "Don't forget what I said." Sandstorm stroked her tail tip gently over Hollyleaf's shoulder, then pushed her way out of the tunnel and headed for the dirt place. The morning light was growing stronger, the clouds still covering the sky, and Rain still hissed down into the clearing. Hollyleaf saw Graystripe bound across the clearing to the leaf pool's den, though he didn't go farther than the bramble stream. Checking on Millie, Hollyleaf guessed. A couple of heartbeats after Graystripe, Ashfur emerged from the warrior's den, closely followed by Cloudtail and Cinderheart. All three cats headed for the tunnel. Ashfur gave Hollyleaf a nod as they approached, curiosity in his blue eyes. You look frozen, he meowed. What do you want? Do you want to come on the border patrol to warm up? Sure! She didn't want to go back to the warrior's den, and she knew J-Paw wouldn't plan anything about the fake sign without her. Ashfur led the way out into the forest, making for the old two-leg path. The rest of the patrols followed him, the rain muffling in their paw steps. Cinderheart fell in beside Hollyleaf. There was a hint of nervousness in her blue eyes. I don't like going this way, she confessed. It reminds me too much of the battle. Hollyleaf let out a murmur of agreement. Her memories disturbed her, too, especially when they came in sight of the abandoned two-leg nest. The blood had been washed away from the stones, but it was easy to imagine that the stench still hung in the air, and the shrieks of battling cats still echoed from the crumbling walls. Hollyleaf's neck furrose as she eyed the moss-covered walls and thick clumps of bracken, half expecting Windclan warriors to leap out of them. Stop! Stop! Cloudtail's command jerked her back to the present. Oh, stop! Cloudtail's... It's hard to do these voices. Stop! Cloudtail's command jerked her back to the present, while the white warrior was standing with his tail raised to halt the rest of the patrol. There's something up ahead. Can you tell what it is? Ashfur asked softly. Windclam? Cloudtail shook his head. His jaws gaped as he tasted the air. Ashfur signaled with his tail for Hollyleaf and Cinderheart to fall back and let Cloudtail take the lead. Hollyleaf knew that the White Tom was the best tracker in ThunderClan. He would soon find out what was waiting for them. Cloudtail slunk along the edge of the two-leg path, close to the rain-battered undergrowth, and slid under the overhanging stems to disguise his white pelt. Ashfur followed him, with Hollyleaf and Cinderheart in the rear. As she crept behind the senior warriors, Hollyleaf caught a trace of unfamiliar scent. She stiffened, her pelt beginning to bristle, and exchanged an alarmed glance with Cinderheart. Shadow Clan! Hollyleaf tried to convince herself that the scent was left behind from the battle, but she knew that it was fresh. And it grew stronger as she padded forward. Her belly churned. Surely Soul wouldn't have ordered Shadow Clan to invade ThunderClan territory? Wouldn't he? Hollyleaf thought. She could hear J-Pod's voice, dryly sarcastic. Cloudtail and Ashfur dropped to a crouch, ready to leap into battle. Hollyleaf and Cinderheart hastily copied them. The rain had almost stopped, though the wind still blew spatters into Hollyleaf's face. She could hear sounds now of cats pushing their way through the rain-soaked undergrowth, heading for the two-leg path. Then she heard a plaintive squeak. Mother, that fern dripped water all the way down my neck. Hush, came the reply. We'll be there soon. Tawny Pelt, Flame Paw! Hollyleaf bounded forward, ignoring Ashfur's hiss of anger. Fronds of bracken parted at the side of the path, and the ShadowClan she-cat pushed her way through. All three of her kits followed, shaking the water from their pelts as they reached the open ground. It's you! Tawny Pelt exclaimed in relief, touching noses with Hollyleaf. Thanks, StarClan, it's some cat I know. Turning away, she dipped her head to Cloudtail and Ashfur. Greetings, she meowed. I've come to... You have no right to be here, Ashfur interrupted, the fur along his spine sticking straight up. What do you want? Are you alone? Or have you brought the rest of your clan? Hang on. Cloudtail slapped his tail over the gray warrior's mouth. Let her get a word in edgewise. Tawny Pelt blinked gratefully at Cloudtail. I brought my kids to ThunderClan. Her voice was low, so that her kids couldn't hear. All three of them were huddled together at the side of the path, staring around with huge eyes. I don't want to be part of a clan that doesn't listen to their warrior ancestors anymore. While she was speaking, Hollyleaf noticed how tired and hungry she looked. Her voice quivered. She was far from the tough, resourceful warrior Hollyleaf had known on their journey to the mountains. And what makes you think? Ashfur began, still hostile. Try not to be more of a mouse brain than you could help, Cloudtail spoke over him. What have we got to be afraid of? It's only the queen and her kids. We're apprentices, Flamepaw piped up indignantly. Cloudtail twisted his ears. Whatever. In any case, you can all come back to the camp. Firestar will be interested to hear about what's going on in Shadow Clan. He shot a glance at Ashfur, and it's Firestar who will make the final decision. Fury still burned in Ashfur's blue eyes. All right, he snapped. We go back to camp. And if WindClan decides to cross the border because we didn't finish our patrol, don't blame me. He led the way back along the path, stalking ahead of Cloudtail and Tawnypout. Cinderheart followed, while all three apprentices crowded around Hollyleaf. Hi, Hollypaw, Tigerpaw mewed. I'm Hollyleaf now, she told them. Wow, you're a warrior, Paw's eyes stretched wide. Congratulations. We'll stop at this page because this chapter is pretty long. But don't worry, I'll record it after. Okay. Hollyleaf, Flamepaw called out, and his brother and sister joined in. Cinderheart glanced back, blue eyes brimming with amusement. It sounds like as if you got 3 new apprentices, she murmured. Stop that, Hollyleaf mewed. Every hair on her pelt felt hot with embarrassment. I can't move without tripping over you. We'll get left behind. The young apprentices stopped squeaking and began trotting along beside Hollyleaf with their tails stuck straight up in the air. What's that? Paw asked as they passed the abandoned nest. 2 legs used to live there, Hollyleaf explained, but they haven't been there for a long time. She added, as the 3 apprentices exchanged anxious glances, Can you scent any 2 legs here? All 3 of them opened their little mouths to taste the air, then shook their heads sullenly. Not a thing, Tigerpaw announced. Well done, Hollyleaf meowed, wondering if this was how it felt to be a mentor. My phone's about to die, so I'm just gonna plug it into the charger. Don't worry, I'll read the rest of the chapter later. So, bye-bye.